Good afternoon. My name is Danny Plugger, and I'm the Executive Director of the Virginia Transit Association. I want to welcome everybody to the final 2022 VTA DRPT Joint Lunch and Learn webinar program. VTA is so thankful for this partnership and the opportunity to offer our members and the Commonwealth's transit community a deeper dive into the public transportation's challenges, issues, and processes with insight from the experts at DRPT and our transit partners. This webinar series would not be possible without the support, expertise, and partnership of our friends at the Department of Public Rail and Public Transportation. As a reminder, our former programs are on VTA's YouTube page if you'd like to go back and review them. And lastly, a couple quick updates before we begin today's program. Our 2025 DRPT VTA Lunch and Learn series will be returning in February. So if you have any subject topics that you would like to have covered, please let me know and we'll make sure to get those on the agenda. Also, please save the date for our 2025 Transit and Rail Advocacy Day on January 27th with a reception at Main Street Station. Sponsorships and registration is now live on our website, vatransit.com. Now today, we have a very special program, a conversation with DRPT's new director, Tiffany Robinson. Director Robinson was appointed by Governor Youngkin to the role last month, and as DRPT director, she has also been appointed to serve on the Commonwealth Transportation Board, as well as chair the Virginia Passenger Rail Authority. She's previously served as Governor Youngkin's Deputy Chief of Staff and as Maryland's Secretary of Labor in Governor Hogan's administration. So thank you for joining us today, Director Robinson. I hit the 10,000-foot view on the details, but can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Of course. Thank you for having me, Danny. And you just gave a little bit of my background, but I want to start out by just saying it is a pleasure to be here virtually. And I look forward to meeting you in person, as well as everyone who's joined us today. It has been a bit of a whirlwind the past few weeks, but I'm so thrilled to be in this new role. And I'm thrilled to have this opportunity to let your members get to know me a little bit better today. So I will give you the short version of my background, including a little bit of what you already told the team and add some color. I actually grew up in the Midwest in Missouri on a farm. I came to Maryland for college and law school. And after practicing law for several years, primarily focusing on land use and real estate transactional work, I moved into a role in local government in Harford County, Maryland. I was there for about 5 years. And then I transitioned into Maryland state government, first as an assistant secretary in the Department of Housing and Community Development, then in the governor's office, and finally as the state's labor secretary. And then I was lucky enough to have this opportunity in 2023 to move to Virginia and serve as Governor Youngkin's Deputy Chief of Staff, where I oversaw a portfolio of secretariats that included transportation. And now I am thrilled, as I said, to have this opportunity to lead this amazing team at DRPT. And on a personal note, I have 2 children. Both are in college too far away. My daughter is a senior at Vanderbilt in Nashville, and my son is a sophomore at the Air Force Academy. So there you go.
So why DRPT? What makes you excited about your new role?
Well, when you start something new and you read the website and the strategic plan and everything you can get your hands on to learn and prepare, and it struck me right away that DRPT has the coolest mission and vision, which is a connected Commonwealth that serves every person, every business, and every need. And I realized that my experience in public service thus far has always connected in one way or another to transportation. You actually cannot work in local government without getting pulled into planning and zoning issues and local transportation requests. And at the state level, allocating tax credits and financing affordable housing deals was inherently intertwined with community transportation needs and transit-oriented development. And then as a labor secretary, you're constantly trying to find innovative ways to solve workforce issues. And guess what our nation's workforce needs most? Housing and transportation. So I'm super excited about this role because it ties together all the pieces of the puzzle that I've worked on thus far in my career. And who knows, maybe I saved the best for last.
Excellent. Yeah, transportation is really kind of the pathway for keeping our economy growing, and one of the reasons I love it. And In this role, is there anything, any factor that you found kind of cool, unique, different that you didn't know before?
Yes, actually, that we are the only state organization of its kind in our nation. No other state has a standalone entity outside of the Department of Transportation that is created solely to focus on rail and transit. That's amazing. We are unique and special, and I think the Commonwealth benefits greatly from that.
Absolutely. And one other thing, we are also, I believe, one of the only states, if not the only state, that has dedicated revenue that goes to rail programs.
That's right.
And so, Virginia is leading it. So it's a great place to be. And obviously, we very much welcome you in the role.
Thank you.
With the General Assembly right around the corner, kind of what are your priorities as the legislators begin returning in Richmond from your role at DRPT?
Sure. I feel somewhat fortunate because during my time as a deputy chief of staff in the governor's office, I was able to build and foster relationships with many of the legislators that I will be working with in my role as the DRPT director. So my first goal is really to focus on strengthening those connections by engaging legislators and collaborating whenever possible. The work we do at DRPT and the work that all of your members do is so important on both sides of the aisle and in all corners of the state. In my early conversations with legislators, they have consistently expressed how critical public transportation is to their constituents. So between now and the start of session and during session, I will be reintroducing myself to legislators in this new role and listening to hear about their issues for the upcoming session. And of course, I'll be letting them know about all of the exciting things that we and you are doing in this space across Virginia. And actually, that leads to my second goal for the legislative session. It's telling our story. I know that prior to the pandemic, all of our partners were achieving record-breaking ridership levels, and then everything changed. But even despite all those challenges, these partners remained committed to providing essential trips for the public. And I know every one of your members did that, and they should be commended for the hard work and sacrifices made during that time. Those efforts did not go unnoticed in our communities. So, thanks to those efforts to reassure the public and about the safety of public transit, and to our team's work in maintaining a robust transit infrastructure, I think we have a great story to tell. In fact, the numbers for October 2024 are hot off the press, and we received we achieved an incredible milestone with ridership. So across our nearly 40 bus providers, excluding VRE and WMATA, we've reached over 98% of pre-pandemic levels. That's our strongest performance, my understanding is, since February of 2020. And I think that showcases the success of your efforts and DRPT's efforts to rebuild and enhance public transit. And even though WMATA and VRE haven't reached that level yet, they too are experiencing year-over-year growth. So by the time this administration leaves office in January 2026, I am determined to see ridership across the Commonwealth not just return to 100% of pre-pandemic levels, but let's surpass that goal. I would love to see us set new benchmarks for growth and accessibility. And honestly, my last priority for the session is to support you. In the next several months, I hope to speak to as many of you as possible. I encourage you to reach out to me and introduce yourself and help me know how we can collaborate better. I believe that a rising tide lifts all boats, and when DRPT does well, so do our partners, and more importantly, our communities.
Thank you, Director Robinson. Yeah, and I believe our national partners at APTA recently released their ridership comparisons, and WMATA is the #1 large transit agency in the country in terms of year-over-year ridership growth. And so that is fantastic for not only WMATA, but for all of Virginia, for what it means to our economy and to getting folks to and from work and other core activities. Thank you. So one of the things I always like to ask folks is, what has been your most memorable transit trip? And what did you kind of learn from it?
Well, I will tell you, I look forward to taking lots of transit rides in Virginia in the very near future. I have not had the opportunity to do that yet. However, um, I rode Maryland's MARC commuter trains almost every day during the period of time when I was in the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development. I will tell you that I was never more prepared for my workday or more relaxed when I got home than during that time when I didn't have to deal with traffic congestion. It was like a gift given back to me at the beginning and end of each day. And I had many memorable trips, including an unexpected birthday serenade, falling asleep and missing my stop, ending up on the Delaware line. But I also learned that these rides presented a unique opportunity for riders to interact and connect. I think it's one piece of public transit that we don't always think about or talk about enough. We were able to support each other, and it was a unique experience where a few complete strangers became friends simply because we were on the same route every day. And I thought that was pretty amazing.
That's awesome. Um, One of the things that I love about the transit community, and and one of the reasons I took this role over a couple of years ago is the sense of that we're all in this together. Um, we all stand up together, we work together. And you will learn this in your role at DRPT. The transit community is incredibly collaborative. They reach out to each other when they have issues and unique problems. And so, having said that, what do you need from us to be successful in your role, and how can we help you?
Oh gosh. Um, at this point, 3 weeks into this role, I would say, please continue doing what you're doing. Like we said, our transit agencies have seen year over year increases. I know that many have introduced micro transit services, and we have some rural localities exploring public transportation service for the first time. GRTC is expanding to surrounding counties. We do have this great story to tell, because Virginians not only need transit, they want transit, and I keep hearing that over and over again. So I will say it's wonderful to see an organized and well-run association like VTA that works together with the community and with each other on all these important issues facing this industry. You should be very proud of the work you're doing, and I really look forward to our collaboration.
Thank you. From your time in the governor's office and now at DRPT, what do you see as kind of some of the biggest opportunities and the largest challenges facing both DRPT as well as public transportation in general?
Well, first of all, I know there are concerns with long-term federal funding, especially for our rural transit providers. Our team at DRPT is on top of this and already brainstorming and looking for long-term solutions. Second, I think we have to continue to prepare ourselves as more individuals return to full-time to the office. We've shown that we can handle that challenge, but I think we need to be even more prepared in the coming months. I look forward to working with the SJ28 subcommittee and DMV moves to find long-term fiscally responsible solutions for WMATA and all of our transit providers. I also hope to work with our partners at VDOT and DGS to see if we can find a way to build the important bus shelters that are needed in a timely manner. I know that's an issue that your partners have worked on, and I hope to jump in and be helpful there. And finally, I think looking into 2025, one of the other things I'm excited about is the launch of our fifth Virginia Breeze route, the Tidewater Current.
Excellent. I'm very excited about that as well. That mirrors my rail baby, the Commonwealth Corridor, a little bit, and they work very well together for intercity services.
Great.
The unemployment rate is down. While labor costs are rising, I think last I saw Virginia's unemployment rate is something like 2.8, 2.9%. And these are obviously having a tremendous impact on our agency's operating costs. I think the last numbers that I saw, operating employment costs, wages, healthcare, retirement benefits, etc., account for about 80% of a transit agency's overall operating cost. And they're competing with every sector, from Amazon, school bus drivers, as well as, construction, maintenance, etc. As a former Secretary of Labor in neighboring Maryland, what's a unique perspective that you bring to the table to kind of deal with this very unique and challenging issue?
Thank you for asking that question. I would say that we really need to ensure that we are paying attention to the business needs of our communities and that we are training and preparing a skilled workforce to meet those needs. I am a big proponent of offering upskilling opportunities and career paths to help our workforce grow and to incentivize retention. I'm sure everyone knows Virginia Works is the new workforce development agency in the Commonwealth, and they are doing great work in growing our apprenticeship and on-the-job training programs. And I would love to see our transportation partners taking advantage of some of these opportunities. Of course, innovation and technology can also create significant efficiencies. So I think exploring these options as well, while simultaneously training our workforce for the future, is key.
And I know we're beginning to kind of run out of time, and I appreciate you sharing a little bit of your Friday with us. And so, since we're in the holiday season, I'll ask you the most important question: what is your favorite transportation song?
Oh gosh, Danny, I grew up in the 80s. So obviously it's Guns N' Roses Night Train.
Fantastic song. I don't know if it's as good as November Rain, but I appreciate it. And then I'll give you the opportunity to say any last words to the transit community.
Oh gosh, thank you, and thank you again for the opportunity to let me kind of introduce myself and talk about some of the important issues facing this industry. I have been on the job for 27 days now. That's counting weekends and holidays. So, I hope if you ask me some of these questions in the coming months, I hope that I can provide a little more specificity and have lots more examples, because I'm learning something new every single day. But I will say I had the fortunate opportunity in my last role to work with the former director, Jennifer DeBrule, not just on transit issues, but also on passenger rail initiatives with VPRA. And while I wasn't always involved in the day-to-day tasks, I was often briefed, and I was always excited to see what DRPT was doing to connect the Commonwealth. So now that I have the privilege of serving in this role, I want to build on the past successes and take DRPT to the next level. So I'm so thankful for this, and I look forward to the partnership with VTA. And I hope everyone has a happy holiday.
Thank you, Director. And thank you again for joining us and for sharing a little bit about yourself with VTA's members. I hope you'll be able to join us on January 27th at our Transit and Rail Barbecue Bash reception at Main Street Station. It's a great event, and you'll be able to meet a lot of our transit colleagues. We usually have 300 or 400 folks attend. And as always, thank you to everybody for joining us today, and I hope everyone has a safe, healthy, happy holiday season and Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.